so dumb. Really? Really?
So, inspiration. A lot of what I used to write about just kind of came to me, and I would write it, and none of it really I liked, so I would just put it in a folder or in a notebook somewhere and shove it off and go, well, maybe I'll go back to it one day. And then one day I'd go back to it and go, wow, this is really crappy. Why did I write this? Or where did this even start from? A lot of this stuff I've been writing lately, instead of going, wow, like, I'll get back to this, I've just been kind of chucking off. I've been writing it and then going, kind of skipping that holding on to phase and going right to, wow, this is crap, why did I write this? And I think a lot of these little side projects that I do, like the vlog, I feel that is going to turn into that. I'm going to do a couple vlogs and then I'll look back at it and go, wow, why did I start doing it that way? That's kind of stupid, and move on. The only one I really enjoyed doing was driving around with a horse head on and making random people laugh. I kind of dug that. But I had to get a new horse head because I lost it. And, well, didn't lose it, it was destroyed. And with the mold, it got messed up in that, but that's completely different from what I'm talking about. So, while I have all these ideas and stuff that I would really like to be able to do, at the same time, I have that nagging in the back of the head that, okay, I'm going to start a new thing, and I'm going to look at it and go, wow, that's not really what I was expecting from it, and kind of just toss it to a side. A lot of that's a learning process. You know, you try different things and you learn from those, from that process. But at the same time, I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again, just different ways. Or I'm doing different things over and over again the same way. And I'm not, you know, you have a vision of how you want something to turn out in your head. And I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist with stuff, but when I've got that mindset of this is how it's supposed to be and it comes out completely different, it defeats me. And I think that's why I have such a hard time doing things outside of everyday things. You know, like I go to work and I get paid to do what I do, and as long as the customer's happy, I don't care. But I'm really kind of constrained at work because of time and the customer having a preset concept in their head, what they wanted to think, what they want it to come out looking like. And as long as I can get it even close to what they think it's supposed to look like, and they're okay with that, then I'm okay with it. But when it comes to my own stuff, if it's not exact, I get really kind of agitated with it, and I have a hard time continuing on with it. A lot of that right now is time constraint. It's not that I don't have the time to do stuff, it's I don't have the ability to do it. Like these vlogs, I have the time to do it, but I don't have the I don't understand your hand motions. So, like, with the vlogs, in all honesty, I really like doing them, but I ramble on, and what I try to get done in 5 minutes, I end up taking a 20-minute video or to kind of get through, and if I had a way to edit it down, I would be able to do that, but my laptop is sitting on a shelf right now because I don't have any power to it, and even if I did, it's not strong enough to run like video software but at the same, like, video editing software. And the same goes with, like, the Minecraft videos I did. I even recorded some with Ireland. You know, she had a blast doing that, but we couldn't edit it down because I didn't have any way of editing it. It's these, I have all these projects that I want to do. I just don't have any way of pulling them off. I'm going to try some different things, and hopefully can push through. Because I think once I get over that, okay, I have a way of doing it, I'll be able to get more stuff done. So, but yeah. Just turn the damn thing off.
I said, why? You're so dumb. Anyway, go ahead.
So, so I've got, talking about projects and stuff, I've got 2 stories right now that I've been working on long term. The first one I've been working on since I was about 21, 22. And it's been a work in progress that I've been kind of chugging at every once in a while. I'll just pick up and start writing. On it writing. That's me hitting you writing.
Yeah, you're going through puberty.
Hey, I'm going through the change. Going through changes. So one is so one I've been writing on since I really started really writing, other than like the teenage angst poetry that every teenager with angst and a pencil write about.
I didn't have teenage angst poetry.
Oh, you didn't enjoy being a teenager if you didn't write teenage angst poetry.
No, I didn't.
Oh, my heart is
No.
my heart is like a flame underneath a
No.
bucket
No.
where
What, a bucket of kerosene ready to light?
Yes.
Yeah, no, see, I didn't have that. I didn't have that.
I must plunge the match into my own heart to light it. Yeah,
Done?
that's teenage
Wow. angst
poetry right
Yeah,
there.
no, never did that.
You know, and then after you were done reading it, people like snap, you know. So, after I got out of the awkward writing stage, I got into I'm going to write an epic novel. Now, I don't mean like epic in the way that it's used nowadays, as in like everything is epic. I mean in the epic of the one thing I always got was I always really enjoyed was the Lord of the Rings, and not just, you know, it's a great set of stories, but to me it's about that world building experience. You know, Tolkien took this world that no one had ever heard of and wrote these stories in this world, and really made not just the characters in it, but the world itself, made it come to life in these epic stories of everyday people doing everyday things to save the world and the people they love. And I started thinking about that whole, like, coming from, like, Bilbo just being a complete nobody in his little town to being still a complete nobody, but he had saved the world, but no one knew about it except the people that he went on, and he was okay with that. And those type of stories really kind of stuck with me after reading them, and so I wanted to kind of write my own in a way without it coming off feeling like I was ripping off the Lord of the Rings, which is difficult when you write something that big. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why it's taking me as long as it has, is because as I write, I kind of see the similarities, and I rewrite, and I get frustrated, and I put it on a shelf for a couple of months, and I come back to it. The characters are always still there in the back of my head, of trying to figure out the best way to get from point A to point B to point C without really dragging it on. I don't want it to be 400 pages of them just walking. You know, so many people say that that's what the Lord of the Rings movies are. It's just 3 movies of hobbits walking.
So,
And
so what is one of your stories about? The one that you've been writing since you were 20?
yeah, that one. It's about Drake Longrock is his name, and he is a nobody. You know, he's born into a very poor family who happens to come into a little bit of money. I won't say they're rich, but they're well off, and that change from being living day to day to not having a care in the world changes him and his brother, and they kind of go in separate directions morally in a way. And when things hit the wall, I don't want to. I feel like I could tell the whole story right now, and I don't want to. You know, when Drake to find himself in a way. You know, I'm going to use that passe term of finding himself in the story. He goes off and he ends up being in the middle of a war that he never knew was brewing, in a war that he never knew was happening outside of his own little town. And it's also kind of a parallel story with his brother of, you know, his brother comes into this money and into this power, and it's a story of him using that to his advantage to get whatever he wants and to do whatever he wants. And it's a very kind of almost a black and white contrast of people and how they handle the same exact situations, but differently in a way. But that's the one I'm working on. That's the one I've been working on the longest. That I've been sticking with. A lot of the stuff I'll write and I'll come back to, and I really don't like it anymore. But that one I keep coming back to because I've got... It's weird, but when you write certain characters and you start writing them out and they start becoming more... You start writing them almost as if they're writing themselves. And it's hard to get rid of those type of characters. And it's hard to forget about writing them. Because they become such almost... I can't think of the word now. So the other story, which is a little bit newer, and that I keep picking up, is about I jokingly started a vampire story one day. And when I started it, I was going to do almost here's the real history of vampires, and, you know, they don't burst into flames when they go out in the day, and they have, you know, they don't sparkle, and, you know, they don't, they feed on human blood, but it's not as gory. But at the same time, it kind of is, because you're still... You know, I was going to do one of those whole rewrites, and I started thinking about if I was a vampire and people started finding out that... Or if I was a vampire, the one thing I would do is make sure no one knew what I was. That whole, I'm going to find a way to fit in and keep my head low, or they're going to come at me with pitchforks. And I figured the easiest way to do that would be, I'm going to get into the educational system, and I'm just going to rotate through colleges. So I started this idea of a vampire hiding himself as a professor. But it's a professor of mythology. So you have all of these, you know, oh, this isn't real, and this isn't real, and oh yeah, vampires definitely aren't real, and here's their real history. But of course, without you have one vampire, you have to have at least another one. So his past starts coming back. That whole the whole concept of, oh, his past is coming to haunt him. It's not really that as much as his true identity starts haunting him. He starts running in with these new... He has a run-in with a new vampire, and he starts... He sees what he used to be in this new vampire, and he starts having those flashes of, this isn't who I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be just hiding here. I'm supposed to be the one in charge and the one with power, and he fights with that. He has that mental and physical fight of what he's supposed to really be. Is he supposed to be a natural killer, or is he supposed to just kind of go with the flow and keep his head down? And of course, you throw in the... I don't want it to be 100% serious. I was kind of taking a fun twist at it. So you have those moments where he's drinking and there's, he's, I have to think of ways to, how does he still feed without, going out. I never wanted to do the whole, in the middle of a field sucking on a cow type thing. Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out things around those. But for the time being, I've got a main spine on where I'm going with that. So, but those are my two main writing projects right now, and I'm really happy with them. I guess compared to the other stuff that I end up writing. But I think a lot of the times I'll start writing stuff and it just gets in the way, and I think that's why I get real upset with it. Well, I don't like it because it doesn't fit in the two main things that I'm currently writing on. So, yay.